back to First Friday. Our First Friday visit is at the Pentimenti Gallery, located at 133 North 3rd Street. We're here with Tony Ward, with his exhibit, Tony Ward, Recent Photographs. The exhibit will be from February 4th to February 27th.
Great.
It's a pleasure to be here with you. I've got here a little early and had a chance to view your art, and it's beautiful. The subject matter and the technique, and you'll explain a little bit about that to us. First of all, though, I want to know, do you have a memory to share with us about your early exposure to photography? What made you get involved?
Well, I started photography when I was an undergraduate in school. I was in an arts program at Millersville State, which is now Millersville University in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I was exposed to photography through my teacher, Bob Lowing, who was a wonderful person and a wonderful teacher. And I took a history class and learned about the history of photography and began to shoot in 1974. I fell in love with it immediately in my junior year. And after finishing my undergraduate work, Bob advised me to go to graduate school. I applied to a number of schools and was accepted at RIT, Rochester Institute. Went there, studied for 2 years, and then came out and started working professionally.
Okay, so it wasn't until you were college age that you actually got involved. The first time you actually picked up the camera and got interested in making that a career?
Yes, actually, I always had a dream of being in the arts. My father is retired now, but he worked in the arts all his life. He was a graphic artist, and I was always exposed to going to galleries and museums and so forth from a very early age. So I always had an affinity for the arts. I didn't know that I'd be a photographer until later.
Okay, that was the root of that question, when you had that first notion of thought. So art has been a part of your experience?
Ever since I was a kid. Yeah, my father used to teach me how to draw, which I really never learned how to do too well, but he exposed me to it, and I always loved to be around him when he would draw and so forth.
So you found your own medium?
Yes, yeah, this is certainly a medium I enjoy.
So did you always think of art, think of your photography as an art, or did you, so many people think of photography as a profession, like a commercial artist. How did you start out?
Well, I really started out with the intention of pursuing art as photography as a fine art. When in school, I was exposed to the old masters from the 19th century and 20th century, and again, as I said, I studied the history of photography fairly well, and my association with it early on was really as a fine art. That's why I pursued my studies at RIT in the fine art curriculum. I was really, I'm a master of fine arts, not a bachelor's degree in commercial art. And as a result of that, I think having that fine art basis enabled me to pursue commercial art with a fine art kind of eye, and I think that has helped me a great deal in my career.
Did you enjoy being the professional commercial artist, or did you much prefer being a fine artist?
Well, let's see, I think the line is kind of blurred. You know, when people say, well, he's a fine artist or a commercial art, I think art and commerce kind of come together at some point. I mean, if you're a painter and you sell a painting, isn't it commercial? So, you know, I have a real hard time grappling with those two victims. But initially, yes, I enjoyed commercial work because, number one, it provided me with income to support my family. And number two, it's a service business, and I like to give people a product that they enjoy and can use and so forth and so on. So that was personally satisfying. But now at the midpoint in my career, I'm really pursuing my craft to satisfy, first of all, me. And then secondly, if I can find a public, an audience who enjoys what I do and I can be compensated for it, that's even better. And from here on out, that's how I intend to pursue my craft.
And looking at the photographs that you have now, this is a black and white show. Mm-hmm. So one coming in on First Friday and seeing the show doesn't think that's what your expertise is in, or that's what you do. Do you have an affinity to black and white as opposed to color? Not Of course, your shirt takes that exception.
Yeah, right.
Of course. But what about color? Do you work in color also?
Yes, in fact, many of the commercial assignments that I've received over the years have been like 80% color. In fact, a lot of my best, what I feel is my best, in quotes, commercial work was color photography. And I like real bold graphic color, and there's certain artists who I've studied, like Roy Lichtenstein, who's a great painter, influenced me. And it certainly had an influence on my color photography. But no, I think black and white is one aspect of what I'm interested in, and I certainly pursue color as well.
How do you come up with some of the themes or the subject matter of your photographs? Because they're wide and varied. And as the viewer, when you come to see the exhibit, you'll see that you have nudes, as you call them, bodyscapes.
Yes.
Okay. And you have your portraits. And how do you come up with a subject of what you're going to photograph?
If I knew that, I probably would never take a picture. I think pictures are a way of exploring your own mind. And some days I wake up, I'll meet someone who I find visually intriguing. I'll ask to take photographs of them. I don't necessarily even know what I will do. It's just a happening between two people that it's like a wonderful moment in time that I capture. So I really don't know why I'm picking these themes. I guess I would have to be psychoanalyzed to figure all that out. But I just find people very intriguing, number one. If you look at my work, all of the photographs in this show, although they vary according to distance and proximity to subject, they're really about people in one way or another. People fascinate me, and I try to find people who are visually, for me, very intriguing. Either through physical type or a sense of beauty or a sense of incredible sexuality. Those are the things that I get really intrigued by, and then I start to pursue it visually. And I always try to pursue it in a way that is unique to me, and hopefully becomes unique as a body of work.
Okay, I see that some of the photographs that you are exhibiting, they may have been spontaneous. You have your camera on your shoulder, you walk down the street and you take the shot. But many of them are set.
Yes.
I mean, there's the one with the woman with the leather glove and the pistol.
Gun. Yeah.
I don't think you just walked down the street and found that lady like that.
No, that's my wife, and
you found her home like that.
yeah, I mean, Sandy and I do a lot of pictures. It's our form of enjoyment.
Okay.
So if we're home on a Friday night and we want to have a pictorial experience, she'll do her thing, I'll do mine, and we'll wind up creating a picture. But it's not, sometimes they look planned, but they're really not planned. Like I didn't plan to do that shot that day in terms of the context of how it wound up. And that's part of the fun and enjoyment for photography for me. My pictures are designed and planned in terms of the topography of the image very astutely, but I don't really like set up or make a sketch in my mind of how this picture is going to appear in the final print.
Well, Tony, it's obvious you have wide and varied experiences. I'm looking at some of your photographs because they are quite different, from the bodyscapes to the portraits. They're all unique in the sense of bringing you into the photo.
I try to lure you in, for sure. I mean, because we're in a visual world that we're very spoiled by so many things that we see. So I think part of the aspiration of any artist is to intrigue the viewer, to either educate the viewer, or to fascinate the viewer, or to humor the viewer, or to create a sense of wonder for the viewer. These are very challenging things for any artist, any visual artist particularly. And it's something that I find incredibly difficult, more difficult to do every day, because as we get older, we're almost become inundated with so much visual imagery via television or through newspaper or magazines that, every picture almost becomes a cliche. So for me, the challenge, yes. preference for any particular type of individual. These are the things that I challenge myself to visually display in my work. Just one aspect of the work. And it just comes out very naturally, I guess, due to who I am.
In looking at your art or your photographs, I noticed that it is multicultural, multiracial. Is that a theme that you would like to photograph or to?
Well,
what are you trying to say?
Well, I mean, it's only natural to me because of my interracial background. The fact that I come from an interracial marriage, I'm the offspring of that. I grew up in both societies, the white society, if you will, the black society, and I found it very intriguing, first of all, to grow up that way, and secondly, to see the world that way. Because one of the things I'd like to bring out in my work is an acceptance of all types of people. So I turn my camera to blacks, to whites. I'm looking for Hispanics, for Chinese people, for Koreans, all types of people I want to wind up in my portfolio. And this is a pursuit that is of great interest to me.
And your work, it does reflect that. You see.
I think it's beginning to reflect it. I mean, the work is so new. I don't think I've encompassed it enough yet. I have the opportunity to go to China, and I plan to do that. And as part of that broad base of being interested in different cultures and so forth, so I plan to pursue that pretty soon.
That's good. We are more of a global society now. It's not just here in the United States or here in Philadelphia. I mean, we reflect now the whole world. So that's a good way to go. Tell me this, your photographs, okay, include quite a bit of exposed human form, nudity, I can say nudity on the air, I think. Tell me, how does that happen? What is the relationship between the photographer and the model for you to come up with such beautiful figures? You call them bodyscapes, and they are. They're just magnificent, the way the bodies are photographed, and so the term bodyscape as opposed to nudity seems very apropos.
Yeah, I love the body as form. There's no question about that. I love the sensual nature of the human body. It's something that is very much a part of me, and something that obviously comes out in my work. And it comes out in my work in an appreciative form of all types of people, of the male form, of the female form. Certainly the sexual power in my work I like to come through, and it's something that I think other people find intriguing as well.
So to sum it all up, if someone had to say you went down to the Pentimenti gallery and saw Tony Ward's work, what would they walk away? What would they be saying?
Well, I hope they'd be saying that here's a man that isn't wasting his time on this earth, and is certainly appreciative of each day he wakes up and sees the world, and hopefully they'll go away with the sense that, hey, it is a multicultural society, and there's beauty in all forms of life, and that's pretty much what I'd like them to see and leave with.
It is said that your work has a cinematic quality. Does this aspect of your medium encourage you or nudge you to take this form to other levels, like cinematography or videos? Or?
Yes, I think there will come a time where I'll pursue motion. But I think one of the intriguing challenges for me right now is to encapsulate in a single frame the sense of motion, or the sense of wondering what happened before the frame was taken and after the frame was taken. I think that is a tremendous challenge for a still photographer. If you imagine trying to encapsulate 5 minutes or 10 minutes with someone into one, what I would call an incredible atom of time, finding that incredible slice of life that is a fantastic picture, that's when it takes on a cinematic role, because many of the people who have seen my pictures that refer to it that way get a sense of time in the picture. What happened before? How did they wind up in that circumstance? What happened after? And so forth and so on. I find that incredibly challenging visually. And also, I have to have a very keen sense of awareness of that special moment when I take that frame to create a sense of cinema. So yes, in a sense, I think to do it literally in motion would maybe even be easier for me, and perhaps at some time I'm going to pursue that.
I think the term that you use, motion, the motion quality of your art is real, because as I looked at the exhibit, I had a sense of moving into the photo itself, seeing what's going on in there. Like there's actually something going on, even though it's a still picture. So that...
Yeah, well, I like to intrigue the viewer with the sense of, how did he wind up there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what happened at that time of day? How did Tony come into this circumstance? You know, you kind of enter my world that way, and you get a sense of wonder. You know, it's like a kind of a form of magic.
Well, surely that's what happens if someone sees this exhibit. You get into your art. Tony, it's been our pleasure to talk with you and talk about your art. And I'd like to suggest and hope that everyone in Philadelphia will come down to the gallery and see your recent works, because it's an experience that I think that they will all enjoy and take a lot away with them.
Well, it's been my pleasure to be interviewed by you, Pat, and my thanks to Pentimenti Gallery for giving me a vehicle to show my work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.